Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is the Vibes of Steel. This is number 4. I do apologize for missing last week. I wasn't really feeling the greatest, so I decided to skip it. Today we've got 7 albums for you to check out, and for myself to check out. We're just going to run through them one song at a time, and we're just going to hang out and listen to some tunes, and that's just how it's going to go. Welcome to Vibes of Steel. So the first one we got for today is Accent Star Chapter 8. This is power metal out of Sweden. We've got Magnus Winterweld on vocals and bass, Jens Klovgaard on guitar, Joachim Jansson on guitars, and Pelle Ackerlind on drums. Mixed and mastered by Ronnie Bjornstrom, artwork by Rafael Tavares. The track we're going to be checking out is called Heavenly Symphony. I imagine this is going to be very power metal-y. Just judging on the artwork here and also the titles of everything. Accent Star, Heavenly Symphony. Let's go. So this riff was really cool. It's just sick. It's like trying to say sweet, and I said, anyway. And the vocal melody is really cool too. Nice. All right, let's do big solo here. It's got to be. Nice. Really cool track. I really liked the riffs throughout the song. I liked the verse riff especially. I liked the verse vocal line as well. And so I'm not the biggest like power metal buff generally. I do like some. I like Blind Guardian. I like, some other ones. It's not something I particularly gravitate towards. I typically like darker sounding metal generally, although I will say that I do like a lot of the traditional heavy metal stuff and even some of the like bands like Wasp, bands like Motley Crue sometimes. I think for me it's the sort of over the top choruses, which are like a staple in the sound in the genre. For me, those can be a bit much. I do think it worked here, and I actually did like the chorus quite a bit, more so than some other songs that have done this sort of grandiose, almost like major sounding riff there. It probably isn't major, but it sort of gives that sort of happy sort of vibe. And that generally I don't particularly vibe with. Like I said, I do think it works here. I'm going to wishlist this. I hope I have time to check it out. There are 9 other tracks. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool song and precursor for what is to come with the rest of today's episode. Next up, this is a band that I haven't heard of. This is Deathblood. The album seems to be called SVNEATR. So I believe this is going to sound like death metal. But I picked this particular album to check out because it looked kind of crust punky to me. So it might be like a black and roll kind of thing. Deathblood are Jeremy Hussein, all vocals. Pierre-Jean Toddy, bass and lead guitar. Interesting. And we got Jeffrey Lagrange on rhythm guitars, programming drums, keys, and samples. We've got the track Never Say Die. It'll be interesting to see how they incorporate the synths and the programmed drums. They can go one of two ways. It can be really good or it could kind of, sound not that great. But the beauty of limitations is that it inspires. So let's see what we've got on Never Say Die by Deathblood off SVNEATR. Okay, we got that HM2 heavy kind of shit. Does sound like it's going to be death metal. Now they're gonna fade out. Okay. So, yeah, that was Deathblood. I definitely get the sort of crusty sort of death metal kind of stuff they're going for. It's interesting that the sort of the solo section at the end almost felt a little bit more black metal-y. Just sort of the tone of the guitar sort of had that cold, distorted sort of lo-fi quality to it. The programmed drums, you work with the tools that you have, right? So I'm not going to knock too many points off. That hi-hat kind of sounded a little iffy to me, but you know, during the blast beat sections, it wasn't too bad. The snare sound I thought was okay. It's probably just like, you know, easy drummer or whatever, what have you, but not bad at all. I like the vocals. The vocals I think were really cool. All right, next up, we've got Extortionist. I believe this is sort of like a deathcore kind of thing. Disclaimer, I'm also not a huge deathcore person. Again, there are a few that I like. I do like Job for a Cowboy. There's some other death metal bands that have sort of incorporated deathcore breakdowns, and I think it works fine. But the same sort of thing with power metal, where they sort of have this genre has this thing that makes it the genre. And to me, I think that depending on how it sounds, you have to be really creative with the breakdown in order for it to be unique and different and worth listening to, in my opinion. So we'll see how this goes. This is only a 4-track EP. The EP is called Devoid. The song's going to be called Out of Touch. Written by Extortionist, produced by Clayton Blue, and mixed and mastered by the same guy. It came out today off Unique Leader Records. But I picked this one based on the artwork. I'm very curious. It looks like it's a wasp nest on a chain link fence. There might be a dude there. I can't really tell. But yeah, let's listen to Out of Touch by Extortionist. Okay. All right. So that was Out of Touch by Extortionist off the Devoid EP. So before I get into sort of the review part of it, if you want to call it that, remember that I'm not a deathcore person, generally. I do like the tone of the guitars. I don't think it's too overbearing. I don't think it definitely sounds clean production with sort of heavy as piss distortion, which is cool. It's fine. I really didn't like the clean vocal breakdowns as much. I felt they were a little safe. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to do this sort of, varying levels, playing with dynamics, which is fine. I kind of like the noisy stuff at the end. But again, it does sort of have that sort of blocky, it doesn't flow. It just sort of has this boom, wah, boom, wah. Like it's very sort of chopped up, right? And like I can imagine looking at the recording of it and just seeing all of these little blocks, right, of single chord, single note, whatever, with the wah pedal and shit. And for me, production like that I don't really like. I think it's too much. I think you need, I personally like a little bit of the raw human playing when it comes to music. This is generally why I like stuff like black metal, and I like sort of the single take kind of pathos, if you want to call it that, towards writing and recording. I do recognize that this is deathcore, and that's sort of built into the genre and how it's recorded. It's just not generally something that I typically gravitate towards. I do think the song is pretty good, but yeah. Next up, we've got Cobra Spell. They're off Napalm Records. This is not a full album yet. They do have the full album up on Spotify, which is interesting. Maybe that's a Napalm thing. Well, let's check out Cobra Spell. It's going to be heavy metal. It's going to be glammy, sort of. I think I've listened to one of the tracks, so I'm going to try to listen to one of the ones that I haven't listened to. We're going to check out Warrior from Hell off 666. We've got Christina Vega on vocals, Sonia Anubis on guitars and synthesizers, Noel Dos Anjos on guitars, Roxy Herrera on bass, and Hale Naftha on drums. Produced by Alejandro Gabasi Bargoj and Sonia Anubis. Recorded at Comeback Studios, mixed by Jens Brogren. Mastered by Tony Lindgren, and cover artwork by Isabella Stabile. This is an all-female heavy metal group. Let's check them out. Warrior from Hell. Ending chorus? Nope, they're just gonna end on the solo. Okay. So that was Warrior from Hell by Cobra Spell off 666. I think the song's pretty good. It definitely has a great hook on the chorus. That sort of warrior. I think sounds pretty good. I think the vocals were the best part of most of the song. I think the riffs are kind of safe. They're stuff we've heard before, but I think that's the vibe I'm getting from the whole track, is that we've sort of heard it before. I think it's great that heavy metal like this exists, because you need bands that are accessible for a wide audience in order to bring in things for things that aren't, right? So like when heavy metal bands are big, it helps the genre as a whole. I think this band could probably be pretty big. The sound is very polished, which a lot of people gravitate towards. It does sort of sound like, I don't know, Kiss meets Motley Crue. Guitar solo was good, and she's very gifted. She's a very good guitar player. I think the lyrics were probably the worst part of the song. It's just very cheesy and very sort of, I don't want to say formulaic, but very cliche in a way. It's an okay song for me. Like I said, I think this band will probably blow up and be huge. They're sort of riding on the underground wave of like traditional heavy metal, epic metal stuff that's sort of been growing. And I think this band will probably catapult above that, and I'm sure they'll play like Hellfest and Download and whatever eventually. But there's something about that I don't like either. It sounds like money, I think, might be the issue to me. It sounds like there's a lot of money there. And as a fan of the underground, I think that irks me a little bit, because it's not an upward trajectory. It's sort of like this vertical leap. So we'll see what comes from Cobra Spell over the next years as they promote this thing. See what comes after that. We'll see. Back to some heavy, heavy shit. We've got the band Demoncy with their new album Black Star Gnosis. Looks like we're going to be checking out the track Across the Setian Plains. They don't list members or who did what on the album down here. That's okay. They've got a lot of support, at least on Bandcamp. Sometimes bands like, the one we just listened to, Cobra Spell, they do better elsewhere, because that's, again, there's this sort of the underground sort of gravitates towards Bandcamp more than other platforms. I bet that the streams will be nuts on Spotify for Cobra Spell. Whereas this, I think, is where this band will thrive. But let's go. We're almost halfway through. Okay, so that was a 4-minute intro song. Let's do the next one, Episimus of Shadows. Cool little harmony. Wow, 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 wow. Cool. It's interesting with these kinds of songs that I find myself not feeling it in the beginning and then feeling it towards the end. I think it's just sort of the intro of how that riff came in, and then once it sort of dipped into that, it was around the 1 minute mark. It sort of dipped and then came back in with the same. It sort of repeated the intro riff and then so on and so forth. I think that impact of coming back to the riff really helped for me appreciate the song. In the context of an entire record, I think it would work. This is definitely a band that I could see at something like Covenant, and then sort of, me standing there and being like, oh, okay. And then again, towards the end of the set, being really into them. That happens a lot with some of those bands. But yeah, that was Demoncy. I really like the song. I think I'll check out the rest of the album, see what we're dealing with. I like that sort of brutal atmosphere sound with a lot of this style of black metal, where the atmosphere is sort of the grindiness of the guitars rather than sort of the space, right? Because when you have like traditional atmospheric black metal, it's all about space and about this sort of wide feeling. But this one sort of like, channels inwards to sort of this dark point, and it's interesting that it sort of has this opposite effect, but it sort of brings you to the same trance-like state. And I think that's what's really cool with this style of black metal. And Demoncy did it well on this track. So, yeah. Next up, we've got Abyssal Rift. This is the album Extirpation Dirge. I hope I'm saying that right. It sounds right. We're going to check out the song The Plague. This, I feel like, is going to be a similar sort of vein as the last one. I feel like it's going to be blackened somehow, but we'll see. All right, we've got written and recorded by Matt Oxier. Guitars, bass, vocals, and synths by Matt. Drums played and recorded by David Mahoney. Mixed and mastered by Will Killingsworth at Dead Air. Covered art by Jesse Nile. Design and layout by M.A., which is Matt Oxier, I'm sure. Of Sentient Ruin. So yeah, let's get into it. This is The Plague. Cool. Interesting intro. I'm just going to press this little button right here. Nice. Almost felt like it was a bar short or something, but cool. Probably on purpose. Cool. That's a neat little womb. Nice riff. Drummer's losing his mind. I guess it's all the same guy, right? No, the drummer's a different guy. That's right. Cool, very dissonant. Again, it sort of felt like there needed to be another repeat there. Up and down with the automation there. But cool. Nice. Yeah, do it again. Nice. Ah, that's so cool. I'm liking the dynamics on this one quite a bit. I think we're going to go off on this note here. Let it ring out. There's still 15 seconds left in the song. A little woo-woo. Cool. So what I liked about this song, first of all, the verses are really good. The heavy parts sort of remind me of Ceremonial Bloodbath like 2 weeks ago. That's sort of abyssal doom, sort of grinding heaviness. I think for me, that's the death metal that I am really gravitating towards lately. I really liked the dynamics. I liked the sort of industrial breaks, as well as that atmospheric outro. Obviously, the vocals are really cool. Artwork's really cool. But most importantly, this song is very well thought out. It sort of has these really interesting chunks and these really interesting riffs, and I like how they flowed together. This is really creative. This is really great. The that's why I wish listed it so early. I will definitely be checking out the rest of this one. Very cool record, or very cool song. Will be really cool to see how the rest of the record goes. This is really sick. Well done. Last one. This came out earlier this week, actually. This came out on the 29th. So this came out on a Wednesday, which is interesting. I've already wishlisted it. I'm a big fan of Panopticon. However, as far as what song we're going to be previewing, the shortest song is 9 minutes. So we're gonna do the shortest song. If it's more of the banjo-y southern thing, maybe we'll try the 12-minute Enduring the Snow Drought. However, we're gonna listen to Autumn Storm and check that out. I've been looking forward for this one for a while. This is obviously a sort of a one-man project from Austin Lunn, but he does have live members and stuff. And we've got a bunch of guests. So from the song, we've got Patrick Naas poem reading on Autumn Storm. See how that goes. And then we've got a choir thing from a bunch of people. I'm not sure which songs those are on. And lots of thanks, lots of cool stuff. Let's check it out. This is Autumn Storm off The Rhyme of Memory by Panopticon. Fast ass drum. guitars are so thick. Is it possibly getting faster here? Harmonica, I think, or it's like a, no, I think it's a harmonica. Interesting. So that was an Autumn Storm by Panopticon off the Rhyme of Memory. It's hard to judge, again, with atmospheric black metal, it's hard to judge an entire record based on a single song. The composition itself was interesting. The tone of everything, I think, carried it. Sort of very well thought out and sort of very intentional is the word that I would use. Everything sort of fits. It doesn't really move around a whole lot throughout most of the song. It sort of has this short little interlude thing, and then they did the poem, and then they brought that back, sort of with the halftime snare hits and stuff. But it was a cool song. It's very interesting. It's not very catchy, obviously, but it just sort of has this soundscape quality to it. A song like this doesn't necessarily need to move around too much. Like, it doesn't need to change up a whole lot. But if we had more time, we would probably check out another one and see how the rest of the album was. It's very dense sounding. The synths especially create this sort of anxiety while listening to it. I was very much on edge the whole time listening. This is a must listen to if you're a fan of atmospheric black metal. This is a band you should know if you have listened to anything black metal related, really. I was reading a little bit of the comments here and then a little bit of this stuff, and it's sort of about this acceleration of time, which, if this song was speeding up or did speed up at the end, I think is really intentional and creative and purposeful. I'm not going to go back and listen to it now, but I feel like it sped up at the end when there was no vocals. I think it was just a little bit faster. Could just be that it's not click timed and he sort of naturally played it a little faster, but I got the sense that it was a little faster at the end. All right, so that's going to do it for Vibes of Steel number 4. Hope you enjoyed checking out some new tunes with me. I do stream over on Twitch, so there's going to be a link below for that, as well as links to my own band. We do have some new stuff coming out next year, so there's some waiting to be had there, but we are working on some stuff. I will catch you next week for Vibes of Steel number 5, but until then, keep your steel honed and your riffs sharp. Deuces.